Hello, this is Michael Roth with the DWD Technology Group, and today I will walk you through using group customizations in Sage. Group customizations can be useful if you have the need for custom screens based off a user or role in your company. They allow you to easily maintain screens for existing users while also making it easy to assign new users to the screens. This is in comparison to the other option in Sage where you would set up custom screens on a per user basis. The first step in this process is setting up your groups and assigning users to them. This is simply done via library master, security, user maintenance. In user maintenance, you have the option to select the user you wish to assign a group to. And in this screen, you will see a field called customization group. It is simply a 3-character identifier that will assign them to their group when filled in. The groups are not set up in advance. They are simply created when a user has the appropriate value here. Once you have assigned all of your users that need to be in the group, you can simply hit accept and leave user maintenance. The next step is then to create the custom screens that are assigned to our user. In this scenario, we are going to be doing an approval process related to sales order entry, where only users within the group will have access to approve the sales order to continue. From here, we go to Custom Office, Main, Customizer Selection. Then we can proceed to Sales Order Entry, since we want to update the sales order entry screens. In this scenario, I want to add my customization specifically to the Totals tab of Sales Order Entry, so I will be adjusting P Totals. You will note there is also a P Totals W. That is related to the wide version of the screen in Sage. Some entry screens will have wide versions. To make sure that your modification works for all users in all scenarios, I would recommend making sure the modification is also done separately on the wide version of the panel. So I'll right-click Edit Panel. And then in here, I have the option to create new groups or update the existing panels. In this case, I've already created a blank standard version for the group GR2 that we have that user assigned to. So I will click the Modify Existing. Otherwise, I would go through the Create New section and simply select my group and the appropriate company for it. Once you have opened up Customizer, it will pop up the panel in question, as well as the Customizer toolbar. In this case, we're going to be adding new UDFs, so I'm going to click the Add Field box and begin adding the fields in question. I have an approval checkbox, and I also have an approval date and approval user field. Once I have them on the screen, if I don't quite like the size, the position, I do have the ability to drag and drop, or I can right-click the field in question, and it will bring up a new menu where I can do things like adjusting how wide I want it to be, how tall or where it is with fine values. The final step for this modification, because I only want this user to be able to click the approval checkbox, and I don't want them to be able to manually change these other two fields, since those will be handled separately via scripting that fills it in when they click the checkbox. I am going to go in, change the options of the field, and for this user, disable the approval date and approval user, since those will never be manually entered. This will differ compared to the all users, all company version of the screen, which will apply to people who are not in this grouping, where those users, I will also disable the approval checkbox. But for this grouping, I want these users to be able to check that box. Once I have the changes in mind, I can exit out, saving my customizations. From there, I can then proceed to sales order entry and see what the screens look like after I've made the changes. To start with, we'll have the DWD user who is not part of the customization group. So when they go to the Totals tab, because I've previously set up that panel so that all 3 fields are disabled, you'll note this user cannot interact with any of the fields other than viewing them. But if I was to swap to the DWD2 user, reopen sales order entry, you will notice that on the Totals tab, they now have access to check this box, whereas the DWD user did not have access to this field other than through viewing access. One thing I want you to know is that group customizations like this are not restricted to custom user-defined fields. You can also hide or disable standard Sage fields depending on your needs. I hope this has been informative in highlighting the use scenario for group customizations and can highlight the benefit in long-term maintenance and upkeep as compared to performing these kinds of modifications on a per user basis. This has been Michael Roth here at DWD Technology Group, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.